Yeah, go ahead. That Sikh gentleman.
Hello. Very good afternoon, sir. This side.
Where are you?
This side, sir. This side.
Yeah. Echo making.
Okay. Very good afternoon, sir. This is Rajan Miglani from the Department of EC. I've been a very great fan of your thought and your critical thinking, following you online everywhere. It's a great time to interact with you. My question has, sir, two segments. What is happening inside and outside this country, or India? Outside, I sometimes think the foreign policy of India has been a little bit in dilemma. The Chinese media recently called us a beautiful lady who's trying to woo everybody. And I don't know, they have been bullying us everywhere in the United Nations and everywhere. And we have been trying to convince them as a very good partner of India. So
I don't think we have been trying to convince them. That is the difficulty. But anyway, go ahead.
And this is the second part of my question has been the turbulence that has been within the country about the so-called saffronization of the education. And it's really difficult for me to understand that if you're trying to bring some change, how does that point to saffronization?
Well, I'm the wrong person to ask. You should ask Sonia Gandhi this question, not me. But anyway, let me try and answer. First of all, I have had recently a long discussion with the Prime Minister on 24th of March when everybody was playing Holi. He and I were the only two people in Delhi who were not playing Holi. So we had a long chat together where I said that when it comes to dealing with China, you have to make up your mind on one thing. During Morarji Desai's time, I told him the same thing. Morarji Desai followed my advice and we had very good relations with China. And for the first time, they gave up their adamant attitude on the border and said, we're ready to discuss it, and we call it a disputed problem. The one thing in the mind of the Chinese which dominates them, we have many things in our mind which also dominates the thinking which the Chinese should know. But first you must know the Chinese mind. The Chinese mind is, if there is a conflict between the United States and China, where will we stand? India, yeah. Where will India stand if there is a conflict between the United States and China? Now, this question I've asked a lot of people in high places in our policy making, and they're not clear. Because the United States has certain appeal for us, because democracy, a lot of people, our children, many of our families have children studying there. Many people have made a lot of money there. There's a big Indian audience there, maybe 3 million, 4 million people. So all this put together, it is easy for any country to think that we are naturally inclined to the United States. And this was a problem even when Indira Gandhi was there and the Soviet Union was so strong. Despite all the strength, they were very insecure that any day we could shift our gears to the United States. Now, what should be our attitude? My attitude is, when the Americans and the Chinese confront each other, in my opinion, we should not take sides. And this should be made clear to both the Americans and the Chinese in a convincing way. Just saying it won't do. For example, if you say we will be neutral and yet you go and woo Japan, Japan is a country which will never come with you unless the United States is good with you. Japan will never go against you if the United States is good with you. Japan will never come with you if the United States is not with you. Now today United States is with Pakistan. They will not come to you unless you can do something by which you can advance their cause. Problem with the United States is they don't have equal partners. Never in their history they have had equal partners. All they have is junior partners. And we can't be junior partners. 1.2 billion people cannot be junior partners to 350 people. So the United States is always balancing. What happens if India ditches us? So Pakistan, they given F-16s to Pakistan after all that has happened. They may not say anything about Hafiz Saeed. In the case of the Chinese, It is my opinion that if they became convinced that we are not in a de facto alliance with the Americans, Hafiz Saeed and all these things in 5 minutes can be okayed. And I myself have been recently invited by China to come there to give a lecture to the Tsinghua University. And then they said we will meet some of our leaders. And then they said, since you opened my Kailash Mansarovar in 1981, you have not gone there since then. So we'll take you by our special aircraft to see Kailash Mansarovar, where I intend to pray. I hope to pray there and ask Lord Shiva, like Ravan, but I will not misuse it. But like Ravan, you give me also a boon to build Ram Temple in India. So, I had made friends with Chinese at the time of Morarji Desai. Only on one ground, that I conveyed, and they knew that I had persuaded Morarji Desai to have it conveyed, that if there is a war between Soviet Union and the Chinese over an island on their border called Ussuri River, there was a river called Ussuri River, there was an island called Chanbadao. Chinese claimed their ownership, the Russians claimed, the Soviets claimed their ownership, and there was a developing war. And we had, during Mrs. Gandhi's time, signed an agreement with the Soviet Union. And therefore, we were obliged, in case ever Soviet Union got into a conflict, to provide India Soviet troops to come through India and go, so they could come to India and go to Tibet from India, which is the underbelly of China. So I conveyed to the Chinese at the request of Mr. Morarji Desai that in the event of the U2 fighting, we will not allow the Soviet Union access through India, despite that territory, despite that treaty, which we don't recognize. And it is that changed their attitude. And there was no war after that. When the Soviets knew that we will not allow, they were very unhappy. They came here, the Prime Minister came here, he went on Doordarshan to attack our own government. I mean, that is the nerve that they had. But it had an impact. Today, you want the Chinese, of course, if you want to fight the Chinese, then join with the Americans, no problem. But if you want the Chinese to be not your ally, but someone who is sympathetic to you on core interests like Hafiz Saeed and so on, which is nothing for them, then I think you have to convince them that we truly are an independent country. Today, that impression is not there, not only in China's mind, but all over the world. That doesn't mean we do not prepare for a war with China, the mistake that Jawaharlal Nehru made. Some of the things we can do, Chinese will be in big trouble. Of course, there's no question of a border war, because the Chinese have such a long supply line. If we use our air force, they are finished. Jawaharlal Nehru lost not the war, but he lost his nerve. And that's why, if he had bombed the supply lines at that time, as Rajagopalacharya wanted, he would not have this problem that he did. But he just lost his nerve. But today, all these Chinese freight goes through the Malacca Strait. Malacca Strait, north of it, is Andaman Island, Nicobar to be exact, and below it is Sumatra. So if India and Indonesia come into a pact, that if there's ever a problem and Indonesia is an anti-Chinese country, if there's ever a problem with China, then they will cooperate with us to block the Malacca Strait, like Suez Canal can be blocked. Then China's trade will go completely, and their oil supplies, everything will go. So there are many things we can do to prepare ourselves to see that China understands that we can cause damage to them. But at the same time, if you want China on your side on these matters like Hafiz Saeed, then they must know that they are dealing with an independent country, which atmospherics-wise is not the impression today in the world.
So we know that there are a lot of questions. So we'll be closing the house and we'll be taking one last question. But if you have any queries, then you can go to contact@vhsindia.org. It's contact@vhsindia.org. And now we'll be taking the last question.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
So-
Well, there was one Sardarji here, Sikh. Yeah. Sorry to identify as Sikh, but your pagdi is very prominent.
The student coordinator requested to please apply the mic.
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਸਰ
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ
ਮੈਂ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਬਲਵਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ पंजाबी डिपार्टमेंट
पंजाबी ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ you better explain then.
मैं हिंदी में बात कर रहा हूँ
अच्छा हिंदी में ओके ठीक है.
सर आप ह्यूमैनिटी के ऊपर माइनॉरिटी के ऊपर बहुत अच्छे आपके वीडियोस देखे यूट्यूब पे और आपने बहुत अच्छी आवाज़ उठाई है. मैं तब से ही आपकी दिल से बहुत इज्जत करता हूँ. मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है सर, आपने ऑपरेशन ब्लू स्टार के पहले भिंडरांवाले जी से काफ़ी मुलाकातें की दरबार साहब में. अगर वक्त रहते ही उस मुलाकात के ऊपर ध्यान दिया जाता और हम पास्ट से भविष्य तय होता है, और क्या उनकी मांगे जायज़ थी? क्या ये ट्रेजिडी जो हुई वो ऑपरेशन ब्लू स्टार की वो टाली जा सकती थी? सर मेरा जी थैंक यू सर.
हिंदी में जवाब दूं या अंग्रेजी में? हिंदी इज ओके. नहीं देखा, ऐसा है कि पहले बात समझ लीजिए कि समस्या क्या थी. समस्या थी ये थी कि भिंडरांवाला जो मेरा व्यक्तिगत जो अनुभव है और प्रत्यक्ष मैंने जो देखा, वो धर्म का प्रचार कर रहे थे, वो नारकोटिक्स के विरुद्ध में बोल रहे थे और ऐसे सामाजिक विषयों जिससे पाकिस्तान पंजाब में समस्या पैदा हो रही थी उसके बारे में बोल रहे थे. जरूर वो निश्चित तौर पर क्योंकि 35 साल के ही थे तो थोड़ा जोशीला भाषा में बोलते थे. अब हरकिशन सुरजीत सीपीएम के जो थे उन्होंने सोवियत यूनियन को साफ कहा कि कम्युनिज्म का फ्यूचर खत्म हो जाएगी यदि ये पंजाब धार्मिक रास्ते में चले जाएगा. तो मैं तो व्यक्तिगत जानता हूं, प्रत्यक्ष जानता हूं, क्योंकि मुझे मेरे साथ सोवियत एम्बेसडर ने भी एक बार बात की थी कि आप भिंडरांवाला के को क्यों इतना समर्थन करते हैं. मैंने कहा मैं तो कोई नहीं समर्थन करता हूं, परंतु आप उसको टेररिस्ट भी नहीं कह सकते. वो तो रोज प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस अकाल तख्त में करता है. कोई टेररिस्ट अपने अड्डे में प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करेगा? कहीं छिपा होगा कोई जंगल में. तो परंतु मुझे पता था ये, और इंदिरा गांधी की मजबूरी थी. वो सोवियत यूनियन से इतनी बंधी हुई थी कि उनको ना नहीं कह सकती थी. मुझे एक बार ज्ञानी जैल सिंह ने कहा कि जाकर इंदिरा जी को समझाओ कि बहुत बड़ा गलत हो जाएगा यदि वो आर्मी भेजेगी. तो तब मैंने इंदिरा गांधी से बात भी की थी, लेकिन वो जो पीछे जो सोवियत यूनियन का जो दिमाग था कि एक तो इस धार्मिक प्रचार को होने नहीं देना है, क्योंकि हरकिशन सुरजीत इस पर बड़े जोर लगा रहे थे, और दूसरा था कि इस पंजाब की जो लोगों के खासतौर पर सिख लोगों को कमजोर कर देंगे तो जो हमारी लड़ने की शक्ति है वो भी दुर्बल हो जाएगा. उस कारण से हुई थी, और मैं उसको उस ऑपरेशन ब्लू स्टार का तो मैंने उसी समय डट के विरोध किया. सारे हिंदू मुझसे नाराज हो गए थे, मुझे चुनाव भी हारना पड़ा, और परंतु परवाह नहीं. लेकिन यह है कि मैं सबको ये हमारे देश में मैं अपने भाषणों में कहता हूं कि देखिए ये जो मीडिया है इसमें जो भी बातें आती है इसकी दोबारा सोचने की आवश्यकता है. कई चीजें आ जाती हैं जिसमें ये मीडिया में डाला जाता है जिससे हमारी जो दृष्टिकोण बदल जाए. और हमें अपने, आज हम पाकिस्तान से बात करते हैं तो लोग हमसे बहुत नाराज हो जाते हैं, हमारी पार्टी से। हम तो कहते हैं, देखिए कृष्ण भगवान ने महाभारत के टाइम पर दुर्योधन के पास जाकर कहा कि अब ये क्या युद्ध करने की जरूरत है, 5 गांव दे दो और राज रख लो। तो सारे लोग, द्रौपदी, सब नाराज हो गए थे कृष्ण से। तो कृष्णा ने कहा कि मैंने दुनिया को दिखाने चाहता था कि ये इतना अनरीजनेबल आदमी है, ये 5 गांव भी देने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। तो युद्ध के बड़ा विकल्प में और कुछ नहीं है। आज पाकिस्तान के साथ हम उसको 4 टुकड़ा करना है तो भूमिका बनाना है। तो बड़ी सूझबूझ के साथ ये सारी हो रही है, परंतु हम कहाँ पब्लिक को पब्लिकली बता सकते हैं इसको कि मैं बोल सकता हूं तो कल कह देंगे गवर्नमेंट वो तो पर्सनल ओपिनियन है उसका, या हमारा ओपिनियन नहीं है। परंतु प्रधानमंत्री तो नहीं कह सकता है, परंतु मैं कहता हूं कि हमारी तैयारी पूरी चल रही है। तो वैसे ही मैं आपको कहता हूं कि ऐसे बातें अब इतनी प्रचार हो गई। मैं वहां गया अकाल तख्त में, जब मैं बाहर आया तो एक जो एडिटर है वो क्या शेखर गुप्ता, हाँ, उसने मुझे पूछा आपने हथियार देखे? मैंने कहा मैं तो हथियार देखने के लिए गया नहीं। तो सवाल ही नहीं उठता कि मैंने हथियार देखा कि नहीं। तो उन्होंने पेपर में हेडलाइन, स्वामी कहता है कि गोल्डन टेम्पल में कोई हथियार नहीं है। सारे लोगों ने सोचे ये पागल आदमी है, ये कैसा कह सकता है, ये मेरी बहुत बदनामी हुई। तो ये सारी चीजें मैनेज की जा सकती है, पेपरों में मैनेज की जाती है। लेकिन आज मैं ये कहूँगा कि धीरे धीरे देश में सबने मान लिया है कि ऑपरेशन ब्लू स्टार गलत था, और जो सारे जो फाइल्स दबे हुए हैं फाइल्स हैं बाहर निकलेंगे, और जो सिखों के साथ दिल्ली में हुआ उस पर 1-2 सजाएं 1-2 साल में होने के बाद मैं समझता हूं कि अमन जो आनी चाहिए आ जाएगी। तो ये है।
Thank you so much, sir. And now moving on to the next question. Okay,
Good afternoon, sir. Myself, Rajiv Supti from School of Computer Sciences.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, okay.
Your speech has been really thought-provoking. You have stressed on a point that we all, as a countrymen, should unite. We should think as a single entity. But don't you think we should start talking about consolidation of Indians rather than consolidation of Hindus? Because Hindu to end represent a religion.
I'm ready to talk about Hindustanis, you see. Consolidation of Hindustanis. Hindustani means Hindu or those others who are willing to acknowledge that their ancestors are Hindus. Those are, if you say that my ancestors were Gori and Ghazni, how can I unite with them? And if they are not Gori or Ghazni, then who is it? It has to be our, when the DNA says that you are the same DNA as me, why can't you accept it? Nor are the Arab countries ready to accept our Muslims. By the way, they treat them very badly when they go for Hajj. This is the country for the Muslims of India. We have a long tradition in this country. We have never disturbed anybody's religion. The Parsis came here. We gave them protection. We built their fire temple. When the British left, they told the Parsis, like for the Anglo-Indians, we'll give you a reservation. Otherwise, these Hindus will swallow you. They said for 1,000 years, Hindus have been looking after us. We don't need you. You go. We are quite okay with the Hindus. This is what the Parsis said. Jews came here after persecution everywhere. We built their synagogues in Cochin and in Bombay. And when Israel was founded, a first resolution passed after adopting the constitution of Israel Parliament is, thank you, India, the only country in the world where Jews were not persecuted. That is the tradition we have. And I'm telling you that Muslims have no problems with Hindus in this country, but they must accept this common ancestry, which is true. If you can prove to me that it is not true, then I will change my opinion. But so far, nobody has been able to prove true. Privately, they tell me you're right. Farooq Abdullah one day told me my ancestors are Saraswat Brahmins. So I told him, why don't you say it publicly? He said, are you mad? The mullah will kill me. Women of Islamic religion, they are all in revolt, but there's no way that they can express their revolt. They don't want this kinds of separate code for their marriages and so on. So I am saying that I am giving you a prescription for the unity of India. I'm saying that we can start first with 80% Hindu. Of course, add 2-3% Jains, Sikhs. They are not Hindus, but they are people who have come out of this soil. I mean, this soil belongs to them, and of course their sacrifices are such that they have complete claim over this country. So this 82.5% plus if those Muslims are willing to come, we are willing to take them on board also. And if we can unite, say, 90% of India, that 10%, what difference does it make? If they don't want to come, they can stay in Jawaharlal Nehru University.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, Tamilikaga oru nimisham, please. Tamilikaga oru nimisham, please. I'm here. Yes. Sir, good afternoon, sir. My name is Soumya. I'm from English department. I have one question as well as a request from you. Shall I?
Yes. They have given you permission. I'm the one to give you.
Pleasure for all of us here to be in his presence, to have heard him, to have been inspired by him, and yes, to have had this amazing interactive session.
To put it to 2 words, a mind-boggling session, wasn't it now? And as to which, we would now take this opportunity to request none other than the Executive Dean, Dr. Sanjay Modi, to come and take this moment to extend this gratitude for this day and the chief guest in his honor.
Dr. Sanjay Modi here.
Dignitaries on the dais and all friends and students in the audience. What scholarship, what clarity, what courage. You name an adjective and I think we experienced it all today. I have never spent so fruitful 2 hours of, I think these are the most fruitful hours of my life I've ever had. I have never experienced such scholarship, such clarity of thought, such courage, such bluntness, and such simplicity also. You are not hiding anything. What is there in your mind, you are saying it, simply putting before you, whether you like it or not, whether you accept it or not. And that is true intellectualism, I believe. When he started with his address, and the Chancellor also said something about it, that he is now nominated to the Rajya Sabha, and we don't know, and we expect him to be at many places. I was wondering, through his speech, I had different notions. Somewhere when he was talking about education, I thought he should be the Home Minister. Then somewhere he was talking about unity and a little political scenario, I thought he is fit to be the Home Minister. And when he spoke about China, I said he's fit to be the Defense Minister. And but I believe he's fit to be what? The Prime Minister. And I have no hesitation in saying, I have no absolute hesitation in saying, this is the modern Chanakya reincarnate. Absolutely. The policy, either he needs an Ashoka to occupy a throne, or he has to be on the throne himself to take India forward and restore the glory of the country. So let me go back to my formal privilege of proposing this vote of thanks for the chief guest and one of the most eminent speakers that LPU has ever had. India has ever had. That's perfect, perfect, perfect. A renowned economist and a former cabinet minister, and you actually don't know what potential he has. We'll have to wait and watch where he goes. He's tasted blood, and where he takes us all. I think we'll follow him like a Pied Piper. I'm willing to follow him wherever he wants me to go. In fact, his acumen has been acknowledged even by the international community, and he was involved in preparing a report of the United Nations on economic cooperation between developing countries. The mere mention of his name brings to mind a persona bearing strong character and convictions, perseverance, and fearless pursuit of national issues and causes. That's the most glorious aspect of his personality. I'm sure he must be greatly feared by those who happen to be in the line of his fire. And somebody must be turning himself in his shoes and seats the moment Subramanian Swamy mentions X, Y, or Z. The man must be having sleepless nights because he's in the line of fire of none other than Subramanian Swamy, and he can be very nasty, as we have all seen. But at the same time, being admired among the political circles for his qualities of head and heart. I personally am a great admirer of his courage and conviction, and his ability to fight battles absolutely single-handedly. The other day, we had a faculty whom we happened to mention that we are wanting to invite Subramanian Swamiji, and he was from ISB, and he's taught all over America, and he says, whenever he comes, please inform me, because I'm a big fan of his, but he's flown off to America, so I couldn't inform him. But I can tell you that people are admirers of you all over the place, and especially people with intellectual capability. Sir, as much for the media, you are truly an intellectual's delight with your witty and bold statements. Thank you so very much for giving us all at LPU the pleasure and the privilege of meeting you and listening to you in person. I would like to thank profusely the Honorable Chancellor, lovely Professional University, Shri Ashok Mittal, and the Pro-Chancellor, Mrs. Rashmi Mittal, for their presence and for making this visit of Dr. Swamy possible. It is one of the rarest opportunities I think the students and all the faculty members would have had. Meeting people of his stature is truly a delight and immensely inspirational. Sir, this interaction with you will leave a deep imprint on our minds and a sense of pride in our hearts for having met somebody like you who is of great substance. Thank you so very much for gracing LPU. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And this brings the evening to a wrap. We had here with us the honor of being in the glorious presence of Dr. Subramanian Swamy. I request all of the guests and the staff and students to take a moment as the dignitaries would be leaving. Thank you everyone for being a lovely audience, for being so interactive, and good day and good night.